Hey there, and welcome to Ruck, Buttercup, the podcast that's all about real talk for military spouses and families. I'm Sabrina, and we're so glad you're here.
And I'm Ashley, and together we dive into the ups, the downs, and everything in between that comes with military life. From deployment tips to marriage conversations to PCS chaos, finding your identity and owning it, nothing is off limits.
And I'm Laura. Whether you're folding uniforms, packing boxes, managing the home front, solo, or just trying to make it through another long week, you're in the right place. Here on Ruck Up Buttercup, we share real stories, honest conversation, and practical support for military families.
We talk about the hard stuff, the hopeful stuff, and everything in between. Because military life is anything but one size fits all.
This is a space to feel seen, supported, and reminded that you're never alone in this journey.
So lace up those boots, lift your chin, and let's ruck up Buttercup. Military life doesn't define us. We rise in.
You can also hear us on Read Across America Radio on Women in Media Wednesdays at 11 p.m. See you there.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Ruck Up Buttercup. It has been a little bit since you guys have heard from me. It's probably been a little all over the place, so thanks for sticking with me. We 100% did what we preach here on the podcast, and that is to take care of ourselves, take a little time away, and come back refreshed. And so that's where it's been a little all over the place lately, but that's okay. We're back. We're ready to rock and roll through the summer. And I actually am really excited today because we have a guest who has been on our podcast before, and she was our second guest ever on the podcast. We were just talking about it before we came on and how crazy that has been since it's been almost 6 years. So much has changed. So first and foremost, welcome back to the podcast, Moni. I'm so excited for you to be here because we're talking about something completely different from the first time you were on the podcast. So first, let's do a little new introduction and tell the listeners who you are and a little bit about your journey as a military spouse.
Yeah, so when you brought that up, I was like, wait, I've been on this podcast for so long, been on so many. I'm like, what? I would, if I had to go back and hear that, I'd probably be cringing the whole time. You know how they
Same. Because we've changed programs, we've learned new tricks and all these different things. And I was like, oh, I should go back and listen to it. But I was like, I did not have time to do that. But I do remember we were talking about my PCS app or whatever it was, and which is a great tool. But you have just flourished in your corner of the world since then. And so I cannot wait for the listeners to hear about all of the amazing things that you're doing today. But you are an Air Force spouse, right? You guys just retired, right?
Yeah, November 1st.
Oh my goodness. How has that transition been?
It's been.
It's a reoccurring thing I've been hearing from all of the spouses who are in that transition.
Yeah, like yesterday, my husband got a bill and he was like, why do we have this bill? And I was like, I don't know why we have this vision bill. And when you get out of the military, you have like a 90-day grace period to use TRICARE. And when we first had our eye exams at the end of 2024, we were still under TRICARE. So when I went at the end of 2025, I was like, here are my two insurances, like my primary and a secondary. And they were like, yeah, we don't take those. We take vision insurance. And I'm like, we may, at least the first year, we didn't have to pay anything. But yeah, it's not all doom and gloom. It is a huge learning curve. Even for my husband and all the out processing that they have to do, I feel like a lot of it can be replaced with things that they actually need to learn so that when they're out, they can get it. I feel like I'm just getting my bearings, like maybe the last 3 or 4 months, because before then it was just like, we were like in survival mode, trying to figure it all out. But I'm enjoying that with the news and everything. I don't have to worry about my member deploying. Little things like that he's home every day by 3:00. He does have another job. He's at Boeing. And so just little things like that. And the stress of military, like the mandatory, like military day-to-day life that he has, the stress is gone. And so that also trickles down to our family. So I am noticing like just a lot of changes around the family and mental health, and it's been a lot better. We're able to travel more. It's just been great all around, to be honest, but there is a learning curve.
Perfect. Hey, we're going to pause a second because my dog is going bonkers.
You're fine.
Okay, so transition, that's really exciting. So let's dive into a little bit about what you've been doing over the last few years since the last time we talked. Run us through what you've been doing for the last 5 years.
So last time I was here, I think I had was in my third development of an app. And I just had this wild idea. I'm going to create military life apps, and there ain't no apps for military life. And that was great, but it's very expensive. So
yeah,
I ended up getting out of that industry. I learned a lot. It was really cool, but now I have all that information and knowledge. I can help support other spouses. And then I just continue to build my public relations agency, working with military spouse influencers and corporate organizations, and just expanding that portfolio and just really working on that. And then in the interim, around that 2019, I started the Association of Military Spouse Entrepreneurs. And the goal was to really just create a space that has more than just how to start a business, because we can all go and figure out how to start a business online. But really just wanted to create a place where spouses felt like they can collaborate, connect, really get resources that was going to help them make money. So I launched the Association of Military Spouse Entrepreneurs in November of 2019. And yeah, we're about 6 years old now.
I didn't even realize you started that early. For some reason, I thought it was more in the last 4 years. So that's phenomenal. That's been around.
On the cusp of COVID, it was wild.
Yeah. I'm a lurker in that group. I really should utilize it more, guys. But I love getting the emails and everything from Moni, because I will sit there and read through them, and I'm just, one day I will actually get in there and just
do the things.
But I just feel like I'm so all over the place because I do too much. It's typical military spouse thing. But it's a great resource for this. And we're going to dive into a little bit more about that here in a minute. But what started you down this journey, though? So what was that spark of creating this community, as well as the why? What drove you to do that?
Yeah, so entrepreneurship for me has been a huge savior for myself, giving me more than just being a stay-at-home parent. And when I started to see that for myself, I was like, other spouses need to be having businesses. And for me, the big aha moment of starting this was I had a Facebook group. So the Facebook group, the Milspouse Creative, is something I created selfishly because I was trying to figure out how to navigate business in a military spouse world. And so I started that group. It was just a place of resources and help and community support. And realizing in that time, because I would get messages and questions about different things, like, how did you do this? How did you do that? And I'm like, okay, why don't we put this all in one place? Nobody else is doing it. There are resources for so much on how to have fellowships and careers, but they're not conducive to our lifestyle. If you can find, at the time, there was not the COVID-friendly workplace, right? So at the time, it was there was nothing online, and to this day, there's still not a place for military spouse small business owners that are verified for them to go on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to find people to work with, to get the resources they need, get the events, or go to a local chapter that's in their area. And so for me, that moment was just realizing that there's nobody out here doing it, and there is a community that needs to be served, and I can figure it out. I don't know. I've raised my hand. I said, sure, I'll take this on.
Yeah, I think it's great because I know when I was a baby Milspouse, I didn't see, there were the MLMs, the spouses were doing MLMs. There wasn't a lot of, or I didn't see a lot of spouses having their own businesses that were able to do what they were doing, whatever it was, whatever they wanted to be. And we have been gone from a normal installation for the last 2 years. And we came back, we were at Fort Benning now. And when we got here, I was flabbergasted about how many military spouse ran businesses that were on installation or that people were advertising. And I was like, I love this. I love that spouses are taking back their careers or their opportunities to help, whether it's bring more money in for the family or whatever the case may be, have something to do. But I don't remember that being the case just even like 6, 7, 8 years ago. And so I think it's really cool that spouses are taking that kind of back.
Yeah, and it's just evolved so much through the years because you can now create a business basically doing anything, which is really cool. And you're right, like at the time, like MLM was the biggest thing. And then at the time, there were some communities out there, but you had to pay. You had to pay thousands of dollars to get a coach to figure out how to run an online business and generate revenue and find clients. And
to be honest, most of us don't have that kind of money.
Structure and all this stuff. And I'm like, this should be affordable to military spouses. Why? We need to teach them how to make money so that they can help their families. And it's not like we're making a lot of money anyway as military families. So how can I put that all in one place to at least have the resource for somebody who really wants to do the work, come in, understand, go to the classes, and really start a business and leverage this community? Because the biggest part of it is the community, leveraging it, the collaborations, the cross promotions, and supporting each other. But you're right, it was very MLM, or you were trying to find a job somewhere. And a lot of times it was like USA jobs, and those jobs are only promised to.
Also, most of the time, every time I was moving, the market was just oversaturated in terms of there was just too many people looking for jobs and not enough jobs, which is where I always joke my resume looks like I copied and pasted it because I just took whatever job came available to me. But so how does entrepreneurship create that flexibility and ownership of being something that military spouses have of their own? Like, how does that go from like just having a normal job to like being a part of their identity?
Yeah. So a lot of spouses are, like you just said, I'll take whatever. I need to just take what I can to pay this bill or to contribute. A lot of spouses were overeducated, mentored, underpaid, underemployed. There's a problem here. We need to stop giving more education and mentorship, and we really need to create resources for spouses to make money and to really grow in what they're good at. And so what I find a lot is that spouses are just taking whatever. And with entrepreneurship, spouses can work in their field of work. They can set their own pay. They can work when they want to. At the same time, a lot of spouses are just kind of living the day to day. They don't really know that they can have a job, a part-time business, and still helps with their identity issues. And most of the spouses do have that. Most of the spouses also are super talented, but then because of the identity issues, it keeps them from growing their business. Believe it or not, it really does. Their worthiness, the abundance mindset, a lack mindset of can I do it because we're about to move and things like that. But it really gives the spouses having their own business. They're working and they're doing something that contributes to them personally. So for me, for my biggest example of that is my first check as a blogger was $75 from Lincoln Military Housing. And you couldn't tell me nothing. I was like, somebody paid for my idea. Like that does something to your confidence. Wow, somebody really values what I have to say. And a lot of that trickles into any type of work spouses are doing, whether they're a VA, whether they're in marketing, whether they're coaches, whether they're making something. When people buy something, when people value your work, you're getting accolades, and it really helps create this identity. Like, I am this, I am that, instead of only just being a spouse and supporting the military member who's constantly getting accolades and things, which we're proud of we're proud of our veteran. I'm proud of my husband. I love that. And I try to explain to him, like, how about if every day you went to work and weeks and months and years go by and nobody acknowledges anything? Like, sometimes that's how it is being a stay-at-home parent, because the workload is just the workload. And so when spouses do get one or two clients, it's like, man, validates my offer, validates that I am smart, that I know what I'm talking about. It really helps create and shift the narrative that they're telling themselves about who they are and what they're able to accomplish in this military life.
Yeah, I love that. So let's dive into, so you saw this problem and you're like, how can I fix it? So you created AMSE. What has that done for the community, and how is it accessible to the listeners?
Yeah, so AMSE was born out of a place of, this is something that I wish I had, to be honest with you, because I spent hours and lots of money trying to learn and figure out how to grow and scale my public relations business. And I was like, man, if we were all just in one place, I could find a collaboration I needed, or I can host a masterclass and build a funnel around that. So it's really built out of that place, and it helps spouses in the same place. So I built this program in a way that I know that if I'm coming into it, I can make my business successful, because I've basically everything in there is what I've done, is what I teach. And we're the only online program that's verified through GovX. So there's a lot of great programs out there for military spouses, but ours is the one where you have to be verified to even join. And the reason we do that is because we want to make sure that you coming in feel safe saying, I'm a photographer in Atlanta, Georgia, or whatever it is. And it really just, it's that community. Everybody here is a Milspouse. Everybody here gets my bad day. Everybody here wants to celebrate my win, or I can collaborate with other spouses. It's just like that really, it's what I teach all the time about that trust factor. You already have a foundation of trust and support. So why not just use the people that already get what you're doing and they want you to grow? And so the program was created digitally and online because I wanted it to be accessible to everybody. Even spouses overseas can get it, right? And they can join any time of day to grab any of the resources or watch any of the replays or participate in any of the events. But so it is accessible at amsemembers.com. You do have to be verified to join the program, and then you get a link from GovX that gives you access to creating your profile. But one of the best things that I feel like has come out of AMSE just in general is the ability to help promote and elevate other spouses.
Yes. And you do such a phenomenal job about that. I love every time I get a see notification or anything like that. I'm like, oh, what's happening now? Like, wonderful things in the community, because it truly is such a great way to one, connect. Like you said, like that community, that connection is so important to our community, regardless, like whether you're building a business or just trying to survive military life. And I always get so excited to see what's coming and what's going on. And it's a great way to stay in the know too, especially if you want to be in the know of what's happening in the community.
Yeah. And I always tell spouses too, this is your platform too. I know that I've created it this way and it has grown, and I've had experiences, I've had opportunities from it, but it's here for you guys. You have a win, share it. You have an event, share it. You have an idea, pitch me. What are we going to do? Mm-hmm. The more, the merrier. That's what I want that place to be, a place where spouses feel like they can flourish without judgment, and they can be seen, and they can be heard, and they can thrive. And so one of the great things that I get a privilege of doing is elevating other spouses' voices and what they're doing. And we do that. So many organizations reach out to me for PR opportunities or roundtable opportunities or things where spouses can go and represent, because we have access to thousands of spouses. So I can find a spouse, I don't know, in Arizona to participate with the BP or whatever it is that they're looking for. It's been such a privilege to be able to build this and then bring so many different spouses to the table and say, yeah, your voice matters. Go here and talk about it. Or they want to interview about this. Or we've done things with MSNBC, CNBC, Meta, the White House. Like, to me, that is like just being able for them to share their stories and then being a part of the community. So often we just go unseen, and it's like, how is it and how can I continue to elevate that? So being an active member is always really great, because if I don't know about you, I don't know about you.
You can't share it. I know. I think that's what's great. What's really great, and that's one of the things that I love the most about your program, is that I can attest that, like, I've seen that. Like I said, I've been like a lurker in the background. Like I definitely
flower on the wall is what I call it.
I do. And it's not because I'm not like looking at things or anything like that. I just don't comment. I'm like the worst person at that. Like, I'm like the person that's always the person helping someone else. And so we preach about this all the time. And I literally am creating a whole thing for Pillar this year. And one of my things was, when you're offered help, accept the help. And I'm like, Ashley, you really have to start following your own advice. And so, but with the Military Spouse of the Year this year, there was just so many things that were coming through. And Moni was a speaker this year. I missed it, unfortunately, because I was traveling. But it's okay. Next year will be fun. But it's so cool to see military spouses uplift other military spouses, because you get, like, in the normal social media, Facebook pages and stuff like that, it's always just filled with negativity. And I'm always kind of, it's not that way, y'all. There truly are individuals out there who want nothing more than to like shout from the rooftop, like, this person is phenomenal. They're doing amazing things. Like, you really should check them out, all the things. And then all the advocate work going through just you alone. Like, I've seen it, like connecting those people and all the different things is truly astounding. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad that there are individuals in our corners as military families, because obviously we need this. We need the programs that are being put into place. That's why Deployed Love was created. That's why your program was created. That's why Blue Star Families and Military Advocacy Network and all these different things were created, because there was a need.
Yeah.
And when we can uplift and share and support those programs, more spouses can learn about it. Because I'll talk to people all the time. They're like, yeah, I really wish there was a program. I'm like, girl, there's 5. Let me tell you what to do. Oh, there's so many things out there that you can do it. You can find which one that fits you the best. It's going to be great. Yeah, I love it. It's so good. So we kind of talked about this, and we just talked about, like, why does community matter so much in entrepreneurship? It's because we can uplift each other and support each other. Is there anything that you want to like touch? We've already answered all of these questions.
Well, and I was going to say, I think social media is a very negative. It can be very negative.
Yeah.
It's either very negative or you're comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah.
And so I'm always like, I always try to tell people, you can't compare yourself to people's journey. And
every journey is different.
Yeah. Everybody's journey is completely different. And come from a place of collaboration. I just feel like
we should have worn our shirts today, Moni. Like,
oh, no, we should have. When you think about it, but it's really about when you create anything and you come from a place of, I want to create this because we need to talk about this, or we need to do this, or a space needs to be created. It comes out of servitude, but then what you do with that is really important, because it's a privilege to have people who follow, who create, who support, who are part of, and to be able to bless them in whatever ways of whatever comes your way. I tell spouses all the time, I'm like, you should be collaborating. You should be putting your information out there. And that doesn't mean that social media always has to be positive. Everybody has bad days. Everybody's having bad experiences. I share mine too. I just choose to share it in a more, hey, this is what happened to me, this is how I got over it way. But I think that we put so much weight on social media and don't give ourselves the validation that I'm living a life and I'm a real person going through this experience. And it doesn't always have to be positive. It's just my experience. But we should not be comparing ourselves.
No.
I was just mad about the algorithm this morning. I'm like, I deliberately go to military spouse pages to like, support them, comment, like always check in. Why is my algorithm filled with all these ads and people I don't want to follow? I'm not even interested in this stuff. I've never even talked about it from my phone to pick it up. And it's because it's all ads, and that's not what this is about. So that's why the portal is so important, because if you are looking for something important inside the portal, you can go right away and you can publish something and everybody's going to get that notification. We're not going to be inundated with ads and pitching, and because everything on Instagram, we're all selling to each other.
Yeah.
We're our own guinea pigs. What's happening?
I like how like everything can be like verified through your program, because you know that it's coming from a real person. You know it's coming from someone who's not faking it to get likes and to get sales and things like that. Like, it is their business, it's their livelihood, and that's what they're doing. Because it's so hard, especially now with AI and stuff, like it's so hard to filter through what is a real product or what is a real service or what is real, all that kind of stuff. And so I think having those spaces where you're like, hey, like I need genuinely like information or how-tos or whatever the case may be, you can go to it and not worry about, is this actually true? Like, do I need to go now deep dive down a spiral, figuring out if this is real information, tangible information, if this is legit? Like, the amount of times I found something, I'm like, this is really cool information. Like, is this true? And then I'm like, I don't have time to go research it. I think it's a great program. I want to backtrack just a little bit. So what would you tell a spouse who feels like they've lost themselves professionally? Like, you come across a spouse who's like, I just don't know what I should do with my time. What I really want to do this, or I really want to do this, or can I make this a career because I'm a military spouse and this MOS moves so many times? What would you say to them on taken that chance of becoming their own boss and creating their own business?
We talk about this a lot because a lot of spouses are so scared to take the leap. They're like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen in 6 months. I'm like, who the hell cares? Nobody knows what's going to happen in 6 months. But are you willing to wait? The waiting game, the waiting time thing is over. My turn, that whole my turn thing, like that's phased out. That's no longer cute. It's not popular. It's not popping. So stop using it as an excuse not to get started. And most people that are saying that, they're so fearful to start. That is their crutch to not start. So if that's you, I'm calling you out because I work with thousands of spouses. I know for real that is a crutch that you're using, and that's okay. That just means that you know you need to do some work, right? The next thing I would say is therapy is important. Life coaching is important. Having a coach next to you as you're building a business is invaluable and is priceless. These people do the things that they do because they have been through it. It means if you meet a counselor, they do marriage counselor, they probably have gone through a hard marriage. They want to figure out how to fix it for somebody else. I do small business coaching and empowerment coaching is because I know how it feels to tell yourself you are not good enough, right? And so because I've worked on that, I can get through it. That doesn't mean before I get on the stage, I'm not like worried. If you're worried, you care. You care about the message that you're giving, right? So all of these things are things that hold us back, and they are work that we have. You can have the best business idea until you work through those internal barriers that you have for some reason, you are not going to be able to grow business or start because you have to get through it. And the other thing is too, like you can start a business and not know exactly where it's going, and that's okay. They tell you like in small business, like these programs out there, I'm not going to say any names because I ain't throwing shade. There are some programs out there that want you to build a SWOT analysis and a business plan and all these things. And all those things are great if you're looking for investors. Most of us are just looking for $500 extra a month. Okay. Yeah. So that takes a lot of energy. That takes a lot of time to create and build. And what happens is you don't have all those answers because you're so new and you haven't done the business that you already feel defeated before you jump into it. So you're already like, I don't know this answer, so I shouldn't even have a business.
Yeah.
It's so backwards. I'm like, don't do a business plan. Have some goals.
Listen, I love that you're saying this because with Deployed Love, so Deployed Love is the nonprofit that hosts the podcast. And we are not like most nonprofits. Like we literally just fly by the seat of our pants, y'all. We're only out here to build community and support. We're all volunteers. None of us get paid. We do this because we genuinely, absolutely love doing this. So yeah, we found a nonprofit this is our 7th year as an official nonprofit. We've been doing the holiday minis for 10 years for Fort Bragg. And there's times where people are like, you don't have money. And I'm like, listen, we can do these programs practically free because most of the community wants to support deployed families and military families. But at the end of the day, like, we had someone tell us, like, you should do this and this. And we spent months, y'all, months creating these. Have we utilized them? Have we done anything with them? Absolutely no. And it was such a waste of time. And yes, we're still working on getting funding and things like that. Anytime, but again, we're all volunteers. I work a full-time job on top of this. Right. So there's all these different things with our volunteers. They're moms, they have businesses, all the different things. And I love that you're saying that because I'm like, okay, cool. We're doing that.
These programs that are out there, they will have you sit for 2 days trying to learn all this. And you're like, oh my gosh, I have to do all this before I try to get a client. No, validate the offer, create the funnel. If you validate it, you're onto something. You just continue to improve the systems afterwards. That's my biggest advice. I get it. We get in our heads because it looks like business should be a certain way. And business is not the same way for everybody. And all of the things that people tell you to do is not necessarily the right way. And I learned that the hard way because I'm like, I have this plan and it's not perfect. What do I do? I'm not following the plan. If you're in a place where you're like, okay, I'm getting through all the muddle. I'm just going to start the business. If we get orders in 3 months, let us get orders in 3 months. I'll figure it out. The next thing I would say for you to do is create like a 3-6-9, like a quarterly plan and find out from there. The next goal is this. And baby, if you don't reach that goal, you need to pivot. life happens. I think too, you have to give
I
yourself.
love how you said pivot. Don't change
Yeah.
it. Pivot into a different direction. It's okay.
Yeah, and take whatever maybe that idea is something when you actually PCS, it needs like a 6-month plan. You just pivot and you put it on a list of things that you need to get done. It doesn't mean no, it just means like right now is not the time, but it also doesn't mean you don't get started.
Yep.
It does not mean you don't. That's not an excuse, and that's not a permission slip not to do the thing that is burning inside of you, that's driving you crazy. The ideas, that sudden urge to put something out there, and you're like, no, because I don't have this. Just do it.
Just do it. I love how you said just do it. I said that all the time. Just do it. Take that leap of faith. Like if you're wanting to get into a field, but you don't have like education, or you may not know or have the portfolio or anything like that, volunteer. There are so many organizations out there who are looking for volunteers to cover these different positions, that if you're like, okay, I might not be able to do this by myself yet. I don't have enough to show people, whatever the case may be. Like for instance, marketing. Like if you really want to get into marketing, but you don't have a portfolio built or anything like that, like volunteer for an organization, build your portfolio up for 6 months, and then go for it. I self-taught social media. Right. I did not go to school I went to school for health promotion, guys. Right. I am doing the only thing that I learned from my degree is how to run programs and like create events, stuff like that, right. Which was a very small portion of my actual degree. I do nothing with my degree. Okay. Mm-hmm. I have self-taught myself how to do social media and like website building, things like that, all just because I was like, hey, we need this done. Can you do it? And I was like, I will try and learn. And I did it for my family businesses and then through Deployed Love. And it's one of those things where now I can work remotely and I don't have to worry about transitioning, things like that. But at the end of the day, I also get to work with nonprofits and help them do all the different things. And so I love how you said, just do it.
Yeah. And I actually think what you said is really great too. Like when I first started, before I fully launched Dog Tags and Heels, I volunteered with Military Spouse Advocacy Network with their needs. And I was the director of their marketing. And I literally hell did not know what the hell I was doing. Yeah.
That's most of the time, y'all. And
everybody, even people in Fortune 500 companies, they will tell you like, I got this position and what I was doing every day, I was just waking up, just winging it. Like, it's true. It's so true.
But that's okay. It's okay to wing it. It's okay to, and I think that's a great way too, because especially if you're a spouse who like, I have no idea what I want to do. I don't know what career field I want to do or what I'm going to enjoy. I have done so many things, guys. I'm a very crafty person. So like I definitely did a lot of different crafty businesses. I made custom tumblers at one point and I loved it I did it for a year and I loved it. And then I started to hate it. I was like, I am not enjoying this. So I was like, I'm done.
So I would have done a whole business plan, a whole SWOT analysis.
Then I made my own things. I didn't spend a ton of money. And when I was like, decided I was done, I was like, okay, like I can sell all this and get some of my money back. I donated some of it to another person who was starting out their business. And I was like, let me give you this stuff so you don't have to pay for it. And because I was in the position that I could do that. And it was one of the things was like, it's not bringing me joy anymore. I loved that. It was a great time to bring in extra money when we were needing extra money. But at the end of the day, and then I came into Deployed Love and this is my heart and soul. And like, obviously I love it because I've been doing it for 6 years for free. But there are so many opportunities out there to build a resume, learn new tricks, tricks is such a horrible word. Why did I say learn new skills and build up and learn and see if it's something you're interested in. You know, every volunteer who comes into into Deployed Love is like, I don't know how to do this. It's like, that's okay, girl. We're learning together. Right. Or we're like, if we don't know something, we have a plethora of fantastic military spouses out there who are willing to say, hey, okay, this is where I suggest you go here to do this or learn this, or maybe look into this to learn how to do it. And if you take that leap of faith, take that chance to join a program, or if you're looking to build leadership, going to Military Advocacy Network or whatever the case may be, you're going to be given tools that you can use in everyday life, but also in your journey into creating a business. So let's see. So other than obviously joining your network, how can we better support military spouse entrepreneurs?
Yeah, the answer is really simple. If you see what they're doing create a Rolodex maybe of people that you know do certain things. And when people are out there talking, you just connect spouses. It's lots free. You don't have to go buy their program. You don't have to go buy their products. It can be super simple. Something we were talking about earlier is the social media. Social media right now is, for me, I use it as an SEO tool. I'm not necessarily using it to build clientele, because unless you have ad spend dollars, you're really having a hard time finding clientele. And I use it to build really true community. And I don't care if it's one person that's connecting with me,
Exactly.
truly connecting with them. We have to start investing in programs and platforms like AMSE. And I'm telling you, it's really the place where you're going to get noticed, recognized, and the support that you need, because we spend so much time relying on people on social media to do it when they're just scrolling. People are just fatigued. They get on there, they're brain numb, and they're just scrolling. And so if you are posting on social media, if you are in any way trying to figure out how to get clients on social media, I'm going to tell you right now, all my clients came from Facebook groups, every single one of them.
Yeah.
I had a strategy. It was a free group. Every Monday and Wednesday, I'd pop into the group and I'd offer something strategically free. And people began to know me as public relations. And that's how I started to build my PR boutique, right? It's just really important. I wanted to go back to that because I feel like we get so inundated with, I got to post, I got to do this on social. And it's like, just use social for an SEO. But if you really want to build relationships, get collabs, you need to invest in Facebook groups or online platforms that are specific to your niche so you can actually grow your brand. And yeah, anybody listening, the easiest thing for people to do to support is just like, comment, share.
Yes.
On Instagram, I have a folder, and on Facebook, I have a folder that says Milspouse Small Business. I see somebody posting. If I'm on, I will like, comment, share, and I'll save it. It helps that business owner.
And she's not blowing smoke, y'all. She actually does that. The amount of time Moni goes and like comments and likes and shares on anything Deployed Love, I'm just like, yes. And I think we say that all the time too, because like, obviously we rely on the community to operate. Like, we rely on donations and things like that. And we understand that times are hard. Not everyone has extra money. They still want to be able to use our programs and stuff like that. But the biggest thing is to follow, share, comment. If you see someone in the spouse group who's saying, hey, just moving here, looking for blah, 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 looking for a community, looking for a play group. If you know that our installation there has a play group, tag us. You know, I love seeing, so I'm on all of our social media. So you can only imagine how many pages I'm on.
Well, I'm sure I have no notifications on my phone because I'm on so many. I'm like, I got this. I'll have like anxiety for days. I'll just become a full-time social media manager.
I tell my staff all the time. I was like, if you guys comment, if you tag me and it's something I actually need to respond to, you need to send me a text or a message as well, so I can make sure to go look for that, because I half the time don't even get all the notifications.
Right.
The amount of times I see past clients or past coordinators or past volunteers or current ones who are tagging us in all of these different spouse groups and things like that, just to say, hey, this is a program here. It just warms my heart, because if you know of a program, or if you know of something that can be helpful to your community, share it. If you have a business that you're like, this is a phenomenal business, share it. Be the team player. I love how you said, like, it's not a competition. We're here to, I've been saying that since day one. When we first started Deployed Love, we ran into when we first expanded into the community social aspect, we ran into some not so kind people in other organizations that were doing similar things as us.
They own something.
And it wasn't even, it was just weird. We were always like, hey, come out to our events, your program. We want to make sure, because our goal here at Deployed Love is to make sure our spouses or our families are equipped with all the resources at their disposal. We don't gatekeep. We know that we might not be the perfect fit for every single family. We, here at Benning right now, we're only doing play groups. There are so many spouses who, even though you're welcome to come during a play group, because we'll meet at the coffee or park, they may not want to because there's a bunch of kids around. Right. And so we know that may not be the perfect fit. But for here, we have Instant Team coordinator who does community events. I'm always posting, hey, this is a great event, sign up. And it's free. Yeah. So go for it. And so I've made an admission to always make sure that we're sharing every resource out there, because you never know in this lifestyle what you're going to need. You may need 3 resources of the same thing to get everything that you may need out of them. You may not be able to just use one resource. And so we don't gatekeep, we encourage, we uplift, we try to make sure families are equipped with the absolute best. And I think that's where when we come in as a community and we work together, you're only making the community itself stronger. Like when we're uplifting each other, we make it stronger.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all the fun things. What are some professional barriers that have impacted you the most, and or that are probably currently the biggest impact or have the biggest impact on spouses right now that either you're helping or working through to help? Because I know you're doing lots of things and behind the scenes. What are some impacts spouses are currently going through that you may have some tips and tricks on how to navigate that right now?
One of the biggest barriers is obviously finding new clients because of social media and because people's pockets are tight. Really just figuring out how to create passive income with creating things that people can download that are cheaper. That is something that we're working through right now. I'm working with a lot of girls, a lot of the spouses now that are even just, I'm actually pivoting too. So I'm working with spouses and working just with female founders. Since I'm retired, I'm like, I need to be on these working on that passive income. So having them create, like, you can't get a client with a monthly retainer. How can you sell a course? How can you sell something with AI? So really figuring out a smart way to create that passive income. So a lot of them are creating courses. That's just a passive income. Maybe it's like a $47 or $97 purchase, but it's something that they can have if people can't hire them full time, right? Like I have my PR course. It's only $97. People can't afford me at $1,500 or $2,500 a month to come in and help them with public relations. Then there's different levels to work with me. You can hire me as a retainer. You can hire me as a coach, or you can just purchase this program and pay a one-off, right? So really just teaching them, like, just because your business model looks like this doesn't mean it needs to stay like that, because the times have changed and people also don't have a lot of capacity. They are just so inundated. They want things quick, fast, and easy. So a lot of what we're doing is having them add a lot of AI into what they're doing to help grow and to grow their business, to also sell whatever they're selling. And then the other thing is always, I keep saying it, it's just that empowerment, like that personal barriers that we systematically have placed on ourselves, or they're generational, and just like really working through those. Like, why haven't I posted on LinkedIn?
Yeah. Oh, I meant to say that if you're not on LinkedIn and you have a business or you're in the professional field or anything like that, I was sleeping on LinkedIn, y'all. I had not been on LinkedIn for so long. Got on LinkedIn last year and I was like, what? Where have I been? I'm so bad at posting it on there, but I'm on there. I'm like, oh wait, I haven't been on LinkedIn in like a week. I need to go over there. But it's such a cool way to connect with other businesses. It's so great. You'll meet people. I've met so many people who have become such dear friends of mine through LinkedIn. We've had several people come onto the podcast from LinkedIn just because we've been able to connect when we didn't have that network at the beginning. And now that we've been able to grow that network from just going on to LinkedIn.
Yeah. And a lot of it is just getting over barriers of just sounding smart enough, not knowing what they're talking about, and going through that. So I would say those are the biggest barriers. It's like creating different revenue streams, because they're like, oh, I have to shut my business down. No, you don't. There are different things that you can do, exploring those. And like I said earlier, just pivoting, figuring out the pivot, shifting with the economy, shifting with the state of our military families and where they're at mentally and emotionally, is another big one, because people are like, people are deployed. It's not a great time in our nation. And it's like joy and sadness can exist at the same time. If you make money off of your business and your family depends on that, you have to work. You have to still figure out how to generate revenue. And it doesn't mean that you're being insensitive. It just means that you are a business owner, right? So it's like really helping them shift that mindset around that too.
Yeah, I love that. You said the word empowerment, and I want to dive into that because you have something exciting coming up this year. Why don't you tell us what's happening?
Yeah, so we are having our third annual More Than a Milspouse Summit. It is for military spouse small business owners, but stay tuned because I had a vision. So next year it's going to be for every spouse. I am just
You have to keep me in the loop. I'm loving all of these like
so crazy. I started this for military spouse small business owners, and I am a faith-based business. If you follow me online, you guys know I believe in God and I run my business accordingly. And I don't know, just something about it this year. I was on a walk and I just heard it. And I know it sounds wild. I was like, no. And he's like, yeah. And I was like,
okay.
And had this whole conversation, and it keeps coming up because spouses are like, well, I haven't started a business, but I really love a place to network and grow my philanthropy or this or that. And yeah, so we have the More Than a Milspouse Summit. It's the third year. This year is focused on small business, but honestly, anybody that comes is going to leave with a wealth of information. We go over mental health and wellness. We go over finances, and we go over the small business structure and marketing type of strategy stuff. So it's not only small business, but we recognize that small business owners, especially military spouses, need so much support in these other areas. So even if you're not a small business, you can come. You're going to get so much value from it.
I know. I looked at the dates and was like, oh, everything is happening while my husband is still gone. And my in-laws, unfortunately, had several surgeries this year. So they're not able to watch the kids like they normally are. And so I'm like, okay, how can because I want to go to MIC. I was like looking at your program. And I'm like, oh, I was like, Jeremy, get back stateside so I can just go all this. I was joking with Jess with Milspouse Fest a couple weeks ago where she had said something and I was like, because I've always wanted to do a conference. That was my vision for Deployed Love. But I'm also a firm believer that I don't need to reinvent the wheel and create something when there's already things created. So I would much rather support those that are created in any way that I can. So I was joking with Jess and she's like, you should come to every single one. I was like, girl, don't tempt me with a good time. I will be there.
Right. Where's the money coming from? That would be my thing.
That was my thing. I was like, listen, I'm going to have to find some backing on this one. But I was like, I will be there because that's Deployed Love. It's like community is key for us. And so that is something that, but then again, I was like, how have I not known about Milspouse Fest? It's been around for years. And this was my very first one going. So it shows me, and that's why we have the podcast of there's still so much out there that people don't know about. And so I just love getting to share all of this information with everybody because it's still there. So I'm super excited to see what you come up with. So I can't wait to support it.
It's going to be great. And one thing that I realized is I have to be the woman of my word. And I always talk about collaboration. And the first 2 years, I was like, is this going to work? Can this work? And so this year I am partnering with 3 other organizations that their focus is military spouses, but in different areas. One is Milspouse Transition. They're focused on military spouse transition. We don't have any resources on that. The other one is Wise Advice and Assist. Laura and Diana and their team over there know all about military life. They have paid millions into our military community and they know all about incredible events. And then we have Milspouse Social Code magazine, which is elevating the voices of our military spouses. And I was like, I just don't need to do this alone. If there are people who want to participate, come on board. And it's been great. And then our summit specifically, all of our sessions, all of our panel discussions are very much curated. So I did have somebody ask me if we were going to put out speaker applications, and I just don't do those. I'm really looking for specific information that I see come through. I'm watching and observing, and I'm reading the room. What do spouses need in this season? What are their biggest hurdles? Where are their hearts? Where are we going to maximize and make the most impact for them taking 3 days to be here? I want to serve them and give them the same regurgitated information that we continue to receive. So everybody is a military spouse. They are speakers. This year, it's going to be very much like The View. I'm not going to spoil it all, but it is going to be like something. We had a really good time last year. We had 2 panel discussions. One of them had live Q&A. One of them was a live podcast recording sponsored by, oh my gosh, Blueberry, and the highest rated because they could talk, they could have conversation, and we weren't just out there just giving information. Here, take this home, write these notes down. We don't have time for that.
No,
you get home, you're like,
here's the real truth, the nitty gritty. We want the real stories. Exactly.
When you come, I want you to feel so challenged, so full. Like every session, I can do it. I can start a podcast. I can write a book.
You can do this.
Not one session.
And you can do that because this podcast was literally a conversation of me and Sabrina sitting there going like, okay, how can we get this information out to more people?
Right.
And then we jokingly said we should start a podcast. And we went back and forth for like 2 weeks saying we should start a podcast. And we were like, okay, let's do it. And we had no idea what we were doing.
Nobody does. I still don't. And I have a podcast.
There's still days where I'm like, how have I been doing this for 6 years? Like,
I literally say the same thing. I'm like, people commented and listened to this podcast, and I literally feel like I hate myself. Like, it's the worst thing.
I had someone who, I can't remember if they were a guest or if they were a new volunteer, but they're like, hey, I listened to a couple episodes and I learned so much. I'm like, y'all know that I'm neurospicy, right? And I go on tangents and I'll repeat myself, and y'all think that was great. I love it. I love that for you because that is just real time, baby. We don't edit a lot. We just edit out I
edit out big things. Other than that, like what you get is what you hear. And that's
exactly.
And a lot of times with a minimal budget and minimal time and doing a bunch of things. But the summit is October 7th through the 9th at the National Medal of Honor Museum in Arlington, Texas. If you're interested in coming, you can go to AMSEagency.com. There's more than a Milspouse Summit link on top. Tickets are only $47.
I know, it's a great price. Like, it's not like you're paying a ton of money to come to this.
We make it affordable. It includes all your meals, like all your meals for all 3 of the days, including reception to breakfast to lunch, and a dessert hour. And then what we do at AMSE is once you register, because we know travel can be expensive, once you register, we give you a link to add yourself to a roommate directory. And then you can read other people's roommate questionnaire and decide if you want to reach out and roommate with each other. And so that helps cut your costs as well.
I love that. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you about several of the trips that I've taken on. I have roomed with complete strangers and had the absolute best time.
That's so good.
So don't be nervous. I know there's a lot of different personalities in our community, and it can be a little scared to do that. But if you don't have a problem sharing a room with somebody, one, you never know what type of friendship you're going to make out of that. Like, I have made such good friends with people just doing this.
There's 2 ladies that came last year. They found themselves on the roommate directory and they've done business together.
I love that.
It's crazy, but it is. We understand that traveling can be expensive and everything. But I always tell spouses, like, when you're thinking about where you're going to, number one, invest your time away from your family, invest your time out of office, invest your time in investing in you, make sure that it is for you, because there's a lot out there that is not for us, but it is advertised to us. And then when we get there, it's all veteran heavy. That happened to one of my DC girls the other day. She was like, I was so mad. Everybody there was a veteran and they were advertising for military spouses. She had nothing in common. There was, she made the best of it, but she's like, it's confusing. And it also wasn't really beneficial to her because she can't really relate to anything they were talking to. So ours is for you. And we do have a partnership with the IRS. So they reached out to me. They're going to be coming and answering all the questions about your business and your EIN and all the things. I just really want this to be like a place of just come get answers and get filled up and freaking get so inspired that when you go home, your husband's like, or your spouse is like, wait, you're doing all of that? And you're like, yeah.
All that. I love that. Love that. If you're listening, thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you've ever felt like the military life has forced your goals to be on hold, this is just a reminder that your identity and your purpose and your ambitions do matter. Mm-hmm. And we will make sure that we share all this information when we post the podcast. There'll be show notes, and we will make sure we tag Moni's page in the programs and stuff. But like we always want to say at the end of our episode, we always ask this final question from all of our military spouses. And it is, if you had one piece of advice to give to a new spouse, a seasoned spouse, or both, what would that be?
I would say, as it pertains to business, or
What? Nope. In just general. Yep. In just general.
don't wait. Don't wait
Yeah.
for anything. Don't wait for the trip. Don't wait for the class. Don't wait
Yes.
for this. Don't wait for your spouse to get home. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait. You'll be waiting for a long time. You become resentful.
Mhm.
And the one thing you can never get back, you can always make more money. You can always do more things. You can never get back your time. Time is
Love that.
precious. And remember that if you have children, they're watching you. And if
Yep.
you have people who follow you, they're watching you. So don't wait.
Don't wait.
Right.
That's the perfect way to end this episode. Thank you so much for joining me, Moni.
Of course.
I had the best time chatting with you and getting to share what you've been up to for the last few years since you were on the podcast, and continue to be cheerleader for you and all the different things that you're doing, because you are doing phenomenal work within our community. And like we always say here on the podcast, we're hearing it together. These were real life stories, real struggles. We're here for it, and we're here to ruck it with you. So ruck up, Buttercup. We're in it together.